Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge into some really fascinating topics and pull out the key ideas for you. Today we're tackling something quite profound, Carl Jung's really surprising take on the nature of evil. What if the biggest threat isn't actually out there, but deep inside us? We're using a great article as our guide, Marie-Louise von Franz, on Jung and the problem of evil. And our mission really is to unpack Jung's unique angle on evil. He didn't see it just as, a moral issue. It was more like a deep psychological, even existential challenge. And we're looking at it through the eyes of Marie-Louise von Franz. She knew Jung well, a major Jungian analyst herself. This deep dive should give you a shortcut to understanding why Jung thought the real dangers come from within us, and crucially, what that implies for how we live today. Okay, so let's get into it. When Jung talked about evil, he wasn't focused on the everyday stuff, was he? He had that term, kindergarten-level issues, like being jealous or holding a grudge.
Exactly. That's a really key starting point. Jung was aiming higher, or maybe deeper. He was concerned with what you could call macro evil, the really big stuff, the major evil of complete destruction. Think large-scale catastrophes. Things like war, mass destruction, the collapse of cultures. He was deeply affected by the world wars, obviously, and the nuclear threat looming over everything. He saw these as symptoms, symptoms of a powerful archetypal force, something collective.
Archetypal meaning?
Yeah.
Universal. Primal.
Yeah, exactly. Embedded deep in the human psyche, coming from what he called the collective unconscious, that shared layer beneath our personal awareness, full of myths, instincts. It's common to all humans. And he's seriously worried about a third world war, calling it a potential civilizational holocaust.
Wow. Okay, so if we're talking about that scale of evil, this massive collective force, how did Jung think we could possibly face it, especially with his focus on the individual psyche?
Right, it seems like a mismatch. But Jung was adamant. He believed the only truly effective response was inner transformation. Things like preaching or activism or trying to reason it all out. He saw those as, well, pretty ineffectual against the archetypal depths of evil.
So not outward actions primarily.
Not primarily, no. His phrase was dealing with it body to body, which means really grappling with your own darkness, your own shadow.
The shadow.
Yeah.
Those parts of ourselves we don't like or don't acknowledge.
Precisely. All that unconscious stuff we push away. He basically said that trying to fix the world without facing your own inner potential for evil, that's just a childish illusion.
There's that analogy in the source material, isn't there? Trying to put out a huge forest fire by just blowing on it.
Yeah, that captures it perfectly.
That's how Jung saw trying to fight this collective evil without doing the inner work. Well-meaning, maybe, but...
Tragically naive, yeah.
Okay, but this raises a really important point. If the focus has to be internal, does that mean activism is useless? Should people just stop protesting or trying to change systems?
It's more nuanced than that. And von Franz really helps clarify this. She definitely doesn't say activism is pointless. She actually says, speak up, demonstrate, oppose injustice. So do those things.
Okay.
But she adds the crucial Jungian perspective that external actions shouldn't be seen as the only solution or even the main one. Jung truly believed the fundamental shift, the real change, comes from the collective unconscious itself, not just from tweaking political systems.
So how does that work? How does the collective unconscious shift?
Well, von Franz gives this really striking example. She suggests that getting just one influential politician into Jungian analysis might actually spark more real change than 1,000 protests.
Wow. That's provocative.
It is. It highlights the core idea. It's about changing the inner landscape, which then ripples outward. Her summary of the Jungian approach is, say your opinion and fight inwardly. That is the way.
Fight inwardly. That's a very different kind of action. So if this inner work is the leverage point, how does this collective unconscious actually, bring about change in the world? How does that deeper force operate?
Jung viewed the collective unconscious as this incredibly powerful underlying force guiding human events. He even used language like comparing it to God in religious context, though he meant it psychologically.
As a kind of guiding intelligence or pattern.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah.
A deep psychic reality. And the crucial part is his belief that change happens through the psyche, not just through laws or governments or institutions. He talked about how miracles happen, moments when individuals are suddenly called, almost inexplicably, to know something or do something truly transformative.
Like moments of profound insight or action that shift things?
Exactly. You can't really engineer these moments directly. You can't force them. But, and this is key, you can go to meet the miracle by doing your own inner work. By tending to your own psyche, engaging with your unconscious. That makes you more receptive, more available when those transformative impulses arise from the collective level.
That connects to something else really powerful that Jung asserted, which von Franz highlights. What did he see as the ultimate danger we face?
It's a stark statement, Jung said. The only real danger that exists is man himself.
Not external threats, not nature.
Us. And the reason, he argued, is that we simply do not understand human nature enough. Specifically, we don't understand the depths of the psyche. And that the psyche is precisely where all coming evil originates. It's the source.
So our lack of self-understanding is the core vulnerability.
Yes. He felt an imminent psychological shift was needed, almost becoming inevitable, because we desperately need this deeper self-understanding to avoid destroying ourselves. Which is why, for Jung and von Franz, depth psychology, understanding these inner dynamics, isn't just some niche interest. It's imperative for our future. It's essential.
To really let these ideas sink in, the source uses some great metaphors. They help make it more concrete.
They do. There's shadow boxing with yourself. That captures the inner struggle, right? Wrestling with those unconscious parts, those impulses you don't want to see.
Like stepping into an inner ring.
Exactly. Then there's tending your own garden. The idea is you need to pull out the weeds inside yourself, your own negativity, projections, unacknowledged darkness, before you can effectively try to fix the world's problems.
Start in your own backyard, psychologically speaking.
Right. And the last one is beautiful. Lighting a candle in a cave. It suggests that by bringing awareness, even a small light, into your own inner darkness, you're actually contributing, in some way, to illuminating the vast, dark cave of the collective unconscious. Every individual effort matters.
Okay, let's try and boil this down. What are the core takeaways for you, listening to this deep dive into Jung and evil? First, evil isn't just personal wrongdoing. It's also archetypal, a massive force rooted in the collective unconscious.
Second, the most powerful, maybe the only truly effective way to confront this deep evil starts inside. Inner transformation is key.
Third, the human psyche itself, especially its unacknowledged depths, is the actual origin point for the kind of large-scale destruction we see in the world.
Fourth, follows logically. If we want collective transformation, big positive shifts for humanity, it has to begin with individuals doing their inner work.
And finally, activism has its place, definitely. Speaking out, opposing injustice, that's important. But from this Jungian perspective, it's simply not enough on its own without that crucial self-awareness and inner work.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to chew on. If Jung is right, if the greatest danger really does lie within human nature, within our own psyches, what specific piece of personal inner work might you feel called to begin, or perhaps to deepen right now? Not just for yourself, but as your unique contribution to that larger collective transformation. It's quite a question to sit with.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into some quite challenging but incredibly profound ideas from Jung and von Franz about evil and inner work. We hope it gives you some valuable perspectives to reflect on as you navigate our complex world.